Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Forum coming at you guys with another video. And today's video is talking about the Detroit Lions at the Pittsburgh Steelers preseason final game, Game 3. These are my highs and lows again of that final preseason game. The Lions lose 19-9. They end up going 1-2 in the preseason, and there was some good and there was some bad. Some disappointing guys. Some just overall production wasn't that great, I thought, but there were some highs. Now, like I've been doing with this little mini series of the preseason, I'm going to start off with the lows first so we can end this a little bit on a high note. So I'll do the lows first. Number one, and if I miss anything, let me know. The backup quarterback situation is putrid. Okay. I'll explain that. First of all, just let me tell you, there was a couple of guys that didn't play, though. Swift didn't play, Jamal Williams, Jared Goff sat. So there was quite a bit of guys. On defense, I thought everybody pretty much played. There wasn't a lot of guys sitting. If there was, I don't know who they were, but it seemed like everybody was in there. Were they in there for the whole game? No, not at all, because you can't do that. But Mike Tomlin and Dan Campbell did agree to start their starters, which I thought was a little bit of a big mistake. T.J. Watt got hurt for Pittsburgh. I think even somebody else went down. Deontay Johnson, their wide receiver, went down after making that great catch earlier in the game, beating Amani Oruwariye. Don't know how severe it is. I think TJ is going to be okay, but the Deontay Johnson one might be a little bit more, but that's because it was a shoulder. But who knows? Didn't seem like anybody from Detroit got hurt. Not that I've read or anything like that today. But anyways, we'll get to the lows. The backup quarterback situation. Now, I don't want to make a huge deal about this. But it's a problem. I've always been that guy. I've said it on many videos, many podcasts. We're just talking about it on Lions Nation Unite yesterday with Micro Mike. We were talking about it, and it's like I've always been the guy that has been like, well, if you got to get to if you got to play your backup quarterback anyways, just your season is doomed to begin with. You know what I mean? But then in the same breath, we don't have a serviceable quarterback in the backup department. Now, we shouldn't really worry about that this year because I think we're still a team building. And it doesn't matter for this year. You don't really have to make it a priority. Yes, David Blau and Tim Boyle are terrible, and it looks like nobody won that backup job, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be, I would not be surprised if both guys get cut. I would not be surprised if both these quarterbacks get cut. Now that's dangerous waters because now you're going to have to bring in a guy or two, probably two. I don't know what happened to Connor Sampson. I think he's gone. I think they released him because he was a tryout that didn't work out. But you would have to bring in two new guys to learn a whole new system. And the game is next week. Now, it can happen. It's happened before. You just got to rely, hopefully, Jared Goff doesn't get hurt. But I would not be surprised if this happens. Now, I think David Blau is winning the job. Not winning it himself, but I think it's by default. But I think he's going to be the guy. He was the lesser suck of the two yesterday, I thought. I thought Tim Boyle was atrocious. It almost looked like he was throwing the ball at the line of scrimmage on purpose at times. Like he just couldn't. The kid's 6'4", I think. 6'3", 6'4", whatever he is. Big dude. He could not get the ball over the line of scrimmage to save his life. I don't know how many balls got batted down. I know 2 or 3 of them were by Cameron Hayward. He's an animal in itself, but get the ball up, bro. And then Blau, he was nothing special either. He's a guy. He plays with a little bit of heart. He got his head kicked in yesterday. I thought he got hit a lot. But I think he's a guy that this regime is probably going to covet more. I don't know. But like I said, don't be surprised if both these guys get cut. I only think one's going to go, and I think it's going to be Boyle. I'm surprised the cut hasn't happened yet, but I feel they're bringing somebody in. I feel they're going to bring somebody in, especially if somebody gets released. I know there's a couple quarterbacks that are going to get released. Are they 10 times better than David Blau? Maybe. But they have to look. They have to look. It's not like the biggest priority, but if Goff goes down, this team is not going to win a game. And I'm not just blaming everything on the quarterback, but the quarterback, they have to be at least serviceable. And we don't have a serviceable backup. But I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's almost bothersome, the quarterback situation, because the backup quarterback situation to me is just, it's not a high priority, but it is bad here. It is really bad. So on to the next, the O-line. I thought the O-line looked really shoddy at times. Penalties with Taylor Decker. Jonah Jackson had one or two. They were opening up a little bit of holes here and there, but they got stuffed on that 4th and 1 early in the game, earlier in the game. They couldn't, they went 2 runs in a row at one point where they got maybe 2 yards. Could that have been a case that maybe Jamar Jefferson wasn't running very hard? I think it all kind of mixes in a little bit, but I was kind of disappointed in the starting O-line. Now, I'm not going to freak out because it is a preseason game, but it was a little bit disappointing because I wanted to see more of a push. I wanted to see some more holes opening. I wanted to see better pass protection. I wanted to see guys filling in. Their reserves weren't very good at all. Don't know what they're going to do with guys like Matt Nelson. Is he going to make the team? Are they going to get a reserve tackle? I don't think Kendall Lamb is the guy. It just, their reserves weren't very good, and I was a bit disappointed in their starters, especially with the discipline. Especially with the discipline department. With the penalties, they had 3 or 4, maybe even more penalties on that starting O-line. Now, I think they're going to be better. Then you have to look at it. There was no Swift. There was no Jamal. There was no Jared Goff setting up stuff. So it all comes into play. But I was a little bit disappointed with the O-line. I think it was a low of that game, especially the starters. Sewell had that one mishap where he let T.J. Watt go in. He got confused on something. He missed the blitz. But then he did play well. He did play well against Watt. I saw he rode Watt out a couple times, getting him away from Tim Boyle, David Blau, whoever was in there at the time. So he did kind of make up for that. But as a whole, I thought the O-line was shoddy. I thought they were very shoddy, and they need to clean that up. Because this is that third preseason game where teams need to clean up, man. They need to clean up their messes that they've been doing since training camp started, going into this third preseason game. So they needed to be a little bit better, and I thought they were a little bit shoddy. Okay, now the secondary. I thought the depth was a little, Sevion Smith, he didn't look that good. He made a couple plays early, and then he made a couple bad plays. He had that, I believe he had a pass interference as well. I do like Sevion Smith, but the depth was a little bit eh. Amani Oruwariye, that guy I am concerned about. I don't know what's going on with Amani Oruwariye, everybody, but he seems like a guy there's something going on in his head. He's on a contract here. Is he thinking about that bag? Is he thinking about money? He got beat by, one of the better wide receivers in the league in Deontay Johnson, but he got beat by 2-3 steps. And Johnson made that great catch, ended up hurting himself. Good throw by Trubisky, too. So I'm not going to get really mad, but this is what we're going to see from Amani all year. We're going to see him get burned quite a bit, and we're going to see him probably make a couple picks. Now, like I said, it's all about the defense. It's all about the D-line with the secondary, and I think it's a bit concerning. It concerns me a little bit. There was some good in the secondary, and we'll get to that when we get to the highs, though. But as an overall, the secondary, Trubisky tore him up. Kenny Pickett had his way with him too as well. They didn't put up a bunch of astonishing numbers, but Trubisky would have thrown well over 300 yards on them if he would have been, full time, 4 quarters, everybody in there. Secondary worries me. The secondary does worry me. Now, the fourth one, nobody really stood out in the wide receiver department to me. Guys had opportunities. Kennedy dropped the ball. Trinity Benson didn't really do anything. You know, that wide receiver 5, 6, if they're going to carry 6, no one stood out. Cephas did have a touchdown, though, but he had only 1 catch. So it's like, but it all falls back on quarterback play as well, too. Quarterback play and O-line play. So it's not just the wide receivers, but I expected somebody to step up. Who had the best day was, I don't even know who had the best day. Kennedy had a couple catches. But he did drop that one in the end zone. You know, it just wasn't nobody stood out. Nobody grasped that number 5, number 6 wide receiver spot. So I don't know what they're going to do there. I don't know if it's going to be Cephas, Kennedy, or Benson. I was hoping someone would stand out, but that's okay. Nobody really did. They probably have their guys in mind already. Now, their linebackers. Now, I thought their linebackers as a whole did pretty good, okay? But I was disappointed in their coverage. Please stop putting Derek Barnes in pass coverage. It is an absolute liability every single time. I love Derek Barnes. I love his makeup. I love his future. But they can't put that kid in pass coverage. He can't cover anybody. Don't put him on Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth destroyed him on one play. And it's going to be an ongoing theme for this team. You know, you got Chris Board out there who is probably your best cover linebacker. How much he's going to play is beyond me, though, because I know they're really set on Anzalone, Rodriguez, and Barnes. Now, Board's going to probably play more on 3rd and longs, 2nd and longs, is my guess. Passing downs, but we'll see. But stop putting Derek Barnes in passing situations where he needs to cover a tight end or a running back coming out of the backfield. It's just it's chaos every single time. Now the highs. Let's get to the highs, and we're going to end it with some good notes. Hutchinson and Harris look like 2 good bookends. They looked really dominant in that first series. Hutch was getting to the quarterback. He was getting to the backfield. That D-line in general had that Pittsburgh O-line jumping off sides a lot. They were worried about him. You could tell they were missing their snap counts. They were jumping that Pittsburgh O-line. They were worried about the defensive line. The defensive line this year, I think, is going to be good. They played the run well. They handled Najee Harris, even the linebackers too. So they did some good things, that D-line. That D-line I think is going to be a force. I think they're going to get better as the year goes on. Now, Pittsburgh doesn't have a very good offensive line, so I'm not going to sit there and just crow like a rooster. But they did their job. They did what they were supposed to do, that defensive line in Detroit. And I think Hutchinson and Charles Harris are going to be a problem. It looked like Harris got the sack on there, but Hutchinson was right there. So half a sack each, whatever you want to give there. I know I looked it up on the stats on a score app, and they didn't even have Hutch or Charles Harris, as half a sack each or Harris with the sack, because they got 2 sacks. One was from Tracy Walker and one was from either Harris or Hutchinson. So I don't know why they don't have that up there, but those guys did get that sack. So I like the D-line. Now the defense, I thought they were overall, like I said, a bend but don't break defense. The offense did not do them any favors. They went for it. They didn't get it. They got stuffed. They held to a field goal. Boyle on that terrible interception. Pittsburgh was in Detroit Lions territory. They held him to a field goal. They only held him to, I think, 1 touchdown the whole game. It was on that. I believe it was a slant route. I forget what it was. I don't even know who got beat. Was it Sevion Smith got beat? I think it was Smith who got beat to a kid named Sims or something like that from Pittsburgh. To give up the 1 touchdown, but I thought they played the run well. The only thing, I thought the secondary got beat up. The secondary did get beat up. That's why I'm always saying that they're going to roll with this. It's going to be the D-line that's going to carry this team, and that's how it's going to be. And the secondary will be better. It's going to be like this all year. But I thought defense as a whole played better. Thought they played better. They held them to field goals when they were inside the Lions territory. And I think that's a bonus. I think that's a bonus. And now it's only preseason, but this is all we have to look at. So everyone that comes at me, well, it's just preseason. I get it. I understand that. You don't have to remind me. I already know. It's going to be a different story when it's the regular season. I get it. But this is what we have to go on right now. Now, the run game on offense I thought was solid. I thought, like I said earlier, the offensive line was a little shoddy. They were opening up some holes, though. Guys like Justin Jackson, I think, ran himself onto this team. Excuse the pun, but I think he did. I really do. I thought Craig Reynolds was solid. Jamar Jefferson, he didn't do that well. He had that one nice run, but after that, he wasn't very good. I don't think he runs the ball hard. I really don't. I think he tiptoes too much at the line of scrimmage. That's just my opinion. I think that's what he is. But, Reynolds and Justin Jackson, I thought, ran super hard. Justin Jackson even had a couple catches as well. Had a big catch for a big gain too as well. So Justin Jackson, I think, will be a big mistake cutting. But how many running backs are they going to carry? So it's going to come down to that. And then guys like Austin Bryant, I thought showed up. He had that kick. He had that block kick. Made a tackle or two. He made a couple pressures. He had some pressure, doing what he's been doing all preseason. He is your guy coming off the bench when they need a pass rush, an extra pass rush or extra pass rusher. So Austin Bryant, and I thought Jared Davis kind of played well too. He had 3-4 tackles. Kirby Joseph was in there too, man. He had about 7, like I said earlier. Deshaun Elliott brings the wood. So I thought overall the defense played better. The secondary was a little shoddy, but guys stood out in defense. I think Austin Bryant did. Jared Davis played better, but like I said, it's going to be tough for him to make this squad. I don't know what they're going to use him as. Do you not put him in coverage? Are you going to be blitzing him all the time? That's really what he's about. He's been a better edge rusher than he's been a better linebacker. So it's kind of tough what they're going to do with him. But he's probably going to be a camp cut. But that was it, guys. There were some highs and lows. Definitely lows, definitely highs. And now it's time to erase all that. They did some things that they probably don't like. Campbell didn't really seem too happy, especially about the quarterback situation. There's no way he is. But there's a couple of things that he can look on and say, okay, we've improved here. But it's all different now. Now everything gets thrown in the garbage. Now you concentrate on Philly. And what they're going to do. So it's going to be a difficult game. Game 1, we'll talk about that. We'll start talking about Philly. We'll start talking about roster cuts. I might do a roster prediction tonight, but I'm going to be at work, so I don't know if I'll be able to get it done. If I'm going to get that done, it's going to be super late. It's going to be when I get home, so I don't know yet if I'm going to be able to do it. We'll see how beat up I get at work, but that's okay. This was my highs and lows of the third preseason game. Some things were good, some things were bad. But thanks for the video, guys. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Get all my videos. And don't forget to like and comment, share this out. Thanks a lot, guys. Boom. One pride. Go Lions, baby.